Grandma Layton is very special. Grandma Layton did not start drawing until she was 68 years old. She took a drawing class just kind of for fun, but also partly for therapy. She had been suffering from bipolar disorder for decades, sometimes debilitating. She was institutionalized several times. Her writings talk about experiences with electroshock therapy that are just terrifying. When she found art and she found a way to express herself and deal with some of those demons, those internal demons, it freed her. It quite literally made it possible for her to keep living. What she did in her drawing class was an exercise called blind contour. With blind contour, you're only working on the edges. The whole idea is that you cannot see what you're doing. And this exercise makes an artist look so closely at edges, at lines. Artists are often frustrated that their work isn't really proportionate to what they're seeing. But that doesn't matter, because the exercise makes you look so much more closely when you can't see what you're doing and you're trying to keep track of what your pencil does. The lines become really beautiful. What Grandma Layton would do in her drawings is follow lines like wrinkles, edges. It's almost like she's celebrating those wrinkles and lines. So the edges along the nose, along the mouth, the wrinkles here by the eye, those become something really beautiful. And she didn't really care that she and her husband Glenn were not young and beautiful anymore. Her green eyes are something that Don Lambert, when he first saw her work, was really touched by. He promoted her work in the late 1970s and 1980s. He got her a show at the Smithsonian's National Gallery. 60,000 people saw her work. She would often give her drawings away to friends or give them away for auctions. Her work was making some pretty good sales at those auctions, but she was never interested in pursuing art as a professional career. She was doing this for herself. She would often do pictures of flowers and then go back in later with things from her imagination. She would do these flower images and then add images of herself and Glenn. That relationship was, I think, also something that she really felt a need to celebrate. Her early marriage had been pretty miserable. She was divorced at an early age. She raised 5 kids on her own, and all the time fighting that debilitating depression. So in her older age, she was able to find some joy. I think Grandma Layton reminds us that you don't have to be young and beautiful to find happiness. You can celebrate your age. It's okay if you have earned your face. We have about 7 of her pieces in the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. Grandma Layton used a lot of her work for protest and to convey her political views. In this one, she's talking about censorship. So she's got duct tape over her mouth, an eye patch, classified down the side, and then all of the buttons that she would wear when she would do events or just talk about issues are all crossed out. I think this is a really powerful piece about censorship and also showing what kinds of things she thought one could convey in art. This one is about literacy. Grandma Layton puts herself as a teacher with a book that says "To Open Minds." Her husband Glenn is depicted as somebody who's struggling with adult learning. He's got a dunce cap on backwards, first reader is backwards, and then below is a list of all the things that happen if people can't read, and then the freedom that they gain when they have learned how. This to me is a really empowering image. Grandma Layton is really special. She's special to me because she reminds me that we don't have to be young and beautiful to find love and to find happiness. We can deal with the things like aging fingers, arthritis, age spots, and still live a happy life. For Grandma Layton in our collection, I think that she represents the other half of society, the society that is often ignored or dismissed. Our culture is very youth-oriented. Grandma Layton is not. And I think that's one of the things that makes me love her work so much.